Guys, I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I want to say welcome to Dr. Boyce TV. You can subscribe at drboycetv.com. Make sure you subscribe at drboycetv.com. Now, I'm going to jump right into this conversation. This was something that I think that is worthy of a discussion. It was something that came up involving NBA star, or not NBA star. He's not in the NBA yet. He's about to be in the NBA. He's a Duke University star right now by the name of Zion Williamson. And Zion Williamson is a guy that if you see him on the court, you're going to be astonished. You know, he's kind of being compared possibly to LeBron James in terms of his physical ability. He is clearly the most dominant guy on the court. He is big and strong and capable and amazing and just an extraordinary athlete, an extraordinary player for Duke. And he's a big cash cow, you know, for the NCAA, which you guys know the NCAA doesn't pay its athletes, and so they're able to make $1 billion a year from the Black community. Now, here's the thing. So what I want to do is I want to talk about this, but as I get started, I want to send a text message out to the rest of the family and let them know that we're live. If you want to get a text notification when we're live, you can actually text the word Boyce to 31996, text Boyce to 31996. So do that and hit the thumbs up button and I'll send out the text notification. The text notifications are important because YouTube kind of throttles our traffic. So basically, if you're on the text list, I can reach you directly and bring you guys into the conversation. So let me see here. Okay, so here we go. All right, so here's what happened. Okay, here's what I saw that got my attention. You guys know that I'm always deeply concerned about what happens to Black males. A lot of athletes are Black men, and we're not in a world that's safe for Black men. We live in a world where the Me Too movement has pretty much worked extremely hard to almost criminalize Black men, particularly in the sexual area. They've done everything they can to label everyone as a sexual predator, even those who would never, prey on anybody. Everything now has been put in the same category as rape, or where you're being treated as if you were a rapist. And that includes, telling a girl that she's pretty too many times, asking her out on a date one too many times, or whatever it is, or looking at her, checking out her body on the job, things like that. And so brothers have to be extremely careful right now. And because if you're not, then they will take everything from you. They treat rape worse than they treat murder. If I had a choice between going to prison for murdering a Black man versus dealing with the punishment for rape, being accused of raping a white woman, I would rather get the punishment for murdering a Black man. That's how biased the legal system is. That's how crazy the world has gotten. So Zion Williamson, who plays for Duke, who's an extraordinary athlete, predicted to be the #1 draft pick. He's an just an amazing player. He had this little weird situation where he's talking to some girl on campus, a woman that attends the University of North Carolina, which adds irony because Carolina is Duke's biggest rival. So I think that's why a lot of people got a kick out of it. And he just mentions to the girl, he says, hey, my bed's pretty big. Why don't you come sleep with me? Right. So he's kind of, throwing out his little game, his game was as weak as mine. But then again, though, he's going to be a multimillionaire. That gives you instant automatic game. Right. You automatically have game when you get a whole lot of money and you become extremely famous. And so so this young lady gets this this message from him, and they're video chatting. Right. They're video chatting. And she goes, I guess, in a quest for attention, she goes and takes the text or the video chat and shares it on Twitter. Like she shares the whole thing, the whole video, like she's sharing the video on Twitter to all millions of people, the media, everybody else, right? So basically her goal apparently was to put him on blast for trying to holler, like he did something wrong. Like I don't know, I don't know if she's trying to say he's a predator or that, haha, this is what he does, blah, 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 blah. Now, mind you, the good thing for Zion is a lot of people are seeing through the BS. A lot of people are like, why did you do this? You made yourself look stupid. You made yourself look thirsty. You made yourself look ridiculous, like all the other women that are running around chasing these NBA players or these guys that are going to be in the NBA. So fortunately, a lot of fans saw that, but a lot of people, I think are going to see this in a very negative way because, as I mentioned to you guys in the video I did this morning on Dr. Boyce TV about LeBron James, how I believe they're going to go get LeBron is the easiest way to take down a black man is to assassinate his character. And the easiest way to assassinate his character is to expose his sexuality, to expose what he's doing sexual. Now, if he's gay, then that's going to be seen as a character bump up, right? Because being gay is very popular right now, and they love it when black men are feminine. But if he is a guy that has had sex with women that they don't think he should be having sex with, or if he's a player and gets around or whatever it is, they're going to label that in the same way that they would as if he were a predator, right? Or a harasser or whatever it is. And then what really got my attention about this whole thing with Zion Williamson is, I was thinking, I said, man, this is dangerous territory because, this being exposed in this way, that's only a step away from being accused of sexual harassment, right? They're not that far away. Like if he was an aggressive guy with the ladies, like let's say that he was a guy that's like, hey, come on, girl, come on to my room, like we can get it in. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna like this more than I like it. I promise you're gonna love it as much as me, right? She could take that like a white woman, because white women get the mantle of victimhood in pretty much everything that they do. She could take that and take it to the public and say, look at him sexually harassing me. Look at his behavior. Look at his, look at what a terrible guy he is. And people will buy into that. Like people will buy that narrative. And for a black man, that narrative is almost as bad as being accused of sexual assault or rape. You see, the mistake that the Me Too movement has made is that they've minimized the effects of rape in some people's minds because they're trying to lump everything into the rapist assaulter category. They got mad at Matt Damon because Matt Damon, the actor, he's a white actor, but he's smart sometimes. And Matt Damon actually made the very intelligent remark to say, why are we lumping everything into the same category? Why are we not looking at the spectrum and the continuum? You got the guy who asked you out on a date maybe 3 times and you only wanted to be asked once. But then on the other extreme, you got the rapist. But with the Me Too movement, they kind of tried to put everybody in the same pile so their numbers will go up and they can attack more people. But I believe it's going to backfire on them. But at the same time, for black men, you have to be extremely careful because you are in the same position that the Jews were in Nazi Germany. Where's the evidence? All you got to do to see the evidence is go look at the prisons. Look at how many black men are filling up the prisons right now. Those are modern day concentration camps. That's Auschwitz. Your Auschwitz is called Rikers Island. Like your Jewish concentration camp is called Pelican Bay, and all these other prisons that are out there. That's what San Quentin. Those are your concentration camps. That's where they got all of your people locked up and dying and being killed on a regular basis, being raped every single day. So basically what you're going through is not, in fact, it's unfair to compare it to what the Jews went through because it's actually worse. It affects far more people over a longer period of time. The Jews were exterminated over a 5-6 year period, or in Germany, we've been exterminated for hundreds of years. And so ultimately, my point is with Zion Williamson, I kind of saw this and I saw, okay, so this white girl is exposing him because I think he invited her to sleep with him, right? Then there's another girl, I don't know if she's white or black, I didn't get a chance to see, but she exposed him because he got in a phone call with her, and let me tell you what horrible thing he did. Let me tell you what he did. Oh, it was so terrible. You know what he did? He told her she was beautiful. He said, hey, beautiful. And she's like, why did you call me beautiful? And he said, because you're beautiful. Why would you wake up? Why would you keep saying that you're not beautiful? What in the fuck is wrong with that? Are men now being exposed because they are telling a woman that she's beautiful? Is that now a crime? I need to know so I can keep up on my checklist of all the things that a black man can be outed for. You're being exposed because you told a woman that she's beautiful? It's crazy. It's literally the level of insanity that we've gotten to. And the thing is that for a black man, anything that involves the illegal use of his penis, right? Because again, your penis has been defined as a deadly weapon. It's already, I mean, it's already being accused of genocide for half of the white race. The black penis in its volume and enormity and sheer power has been seen already. It's already been accused of white genocide. You're already being accused of wiping out half of the white people, because you know when a brother makes a baby with a white girl, the baby does not come out white. We know this, right? We know that black plus white equals black, right? Just like it's almost like 2 + 3 = 2. 2 + 12 = 2. 2 + 0 = 2. 2 + -58 = 2, right? It's like that weird genetic math where black plus anything equals black, right? So your penis is already convicted of mass genocide against white people. You're being convicted of murder just for the fact that you're born, which is why they work so hard to convince your mama to go to Planned Parenthood to make sure that you never exist. That's why they put all the Planned Parenthood clinics in the hood, because they're like, we don't need these little niggas to even exist so that we can make sure that we survive. So their very genetic survival is predicated upon them making sure that you don't survive. You know, so the genocide against you is based on the fact that they believe you're committing genocide against them. Some people do. Some again, the woke white people. You call them woke white people because honestly, I think they are a little woker, right? I'm talking about the white folks who, like, literally, they'll give a lecture where they'll be like, "We are being wiped into extinction, wiped off the face of the earth." I'll be like, "Yeah, you kind of are. You know, our melanin is kicking you in your ass. If it was melanin against Caucasians, melanin is winning the game 147-4. So melanin is powerful. We know this, right? And woke white people, I think they know this too, right? That's why. But so anyway, long story short, you know, I think when you're talking about the black male, we are so powerful. We are so amazing and extraordinary. We are so built in certain ways that, I mean, think about this. You think about Zion Williamson at Duke. Zion Williamson is what, 6'7", 270 pounds of raw muscle, and probably has a 46-inch vertical leap, which is insane. Insane. The average white guy jumps about 30 inches off the ground if he's good. Zion Williamson jumped so high that they had to keep on raising up the bar because they were like, we can't find a height that's so high that he can't reach it. That's how when he dunks a basketball, he dunks like this, and the rim is like at his chest. And that's why everybody loves him. That's why he's the talk of the town. And I want to ask you this question. This is going to sound like a racist question, but I want to ask you guys this question. Have you ever in your life, sports fans can answer this better than most. Tell me right now, yes or no, and I'm gonna open this door because it's hot up in here. Tell me yes or no. Have you ever seen a white version of Zion Williamson? Has there ever been a white man that could do what Zion Williamson does? I want you to answer that question while I open up this door. Who's the white Zion Williamson? There is none. There is none. Who's the white Shaquille O'Neal? Shaquille O'Neal, 7'1", 280 pounds, quick as a cat, jump out of the gym, can take the ball up the court and run the whole fast break like he's the point guard. Who's the white Shaquille O'Neal? Who's the white Michael Jordan? Show me which white guy could go jump from the free throw line and dunk a basketball. Okay, Blake Griffin, no, he's not a white Shaquille O'Neal, and then he's got melanin too. The power of the melanin. Without the melanin, he wouldn't be doing none of that shit. Y'all know that. Kevin McHale, see, y'all need to quit. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, please. Please hit the thumbs up button. We need the thumbs up so that more people will see the video. Also, if you want to get a notification when we go live, text the word Boyce to 31996. And also, don't forget, we're on iTunes now. The podcast is on iTunes. So if you have iTunes, you can get every episode delivered to you, and you can listen on, in your car, on your phone, or whatever you want to do. So just search for my name, Boyce Watkins, on iTunes. You'll find it. So here's what we're talking about. Zion Williamson, a star at Duke University, just got exposed and outed by a couple of white women he was talking to on social media. One white woman, he told her, you can come sleep in my room if you want to. He's trying to get some. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with offering sex to another person. Nothing. There's something wrong with taking sex from another person without their permission. But there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I think that you and I would probably enjoy a roll in the hay together. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But he got exposed for this, and then he gets exposed again by another woman for telling her that she's beautiful, right? I'm really, really, really in the category of people that believes that the whole Me Too movement is really an attack on heterosexual males and anything that heterosexual males believe in. Like I read an article this morning on Madame Noir, and I was very disappointed in the article because it was written by a black woman, but you could tell that she was basically a white feminist in blackface. That's what she was. She was a white feminist in blackface because you could tell by people that use certain code words, certain buzzwords, right? So literally her response to raising a black male in the Me Too movement was, she said, we have lots of conversations about toxic masculinity, and we have conversations about rape culture, right? These are all terms that were invented by the liberals to push forward an agenda as part of their gender war, right? So she's using all these buzz terms, which tells me that she's pretty much just a victim of brainwashing. She might as well be living in R. Kelly's house, because instead of R. Kelly brainwashing her, the white liberals have done it, right? So instead of having R. Kelly as your pimp and him having you living in a closet and sleep and crapping in a bucket, white liberals got you in the same position. They got you controlled up and down the street. You can't think for yourself anymore. All you're doing is repeating what they've told you to say. So basically, this woman writes this article in Madame Noir, and she basically is talking about the Me Too movement and raising a black son in the Me Too movement. And what I thought was very fascinating was that that in all the conversation, and I looked specifically, I said, what is she talking to her son about? Everything that she talked about was, managing your toxic masculinity, knowing appropriate boundaries with a woman, understanding how to not participate in rape culture and how to not rape women, right? But there's no conversation about how he can protect himself from the crazy women out here that will falsely accuse you when they get mad at you. Tell me if anybody in here, tell me, I hope I'm not the only one. Tell me if you have ever known or met somebody, a guy who's been falsely accused by a woman. Tell me if you know. And as you tell me yes, that you know someone, yes or no, I'm going to tell you a story. I knew this brother who was a smart guy, very successful. He would go on TV shows all the time. That's what he did. It's one of the things he did. And he was a good-looking man. The ladies loved him. And I don't know what he was doing sexually. I don't know who he was sleeping with or why. I don't judge that. And he met a girl that he liked. He met usually every city. That's why I tell ladies, like, be careful about the guys that are that every woman wants, because you think you can change them, or you think that he can just be yours. But in a lot of those situations, you're literally like number 185. Like I knew one guy that was so handsome. He was on TV. I literally independently met 4 women who asked me if he was single. And I was like, I don't think he's really single. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but maybe you should find a guy who's a little more available. But anyway, so this guy was, he was in that category. The ladies liked him. He had, probably more sex than I did. And it was what it was. So he slept with one girl in one city. And when he slept with the girl, the next day, the girl texts him and she says, hey, you got any free time today? Why don't we meet for lunch? And he's like, I'm kind of busy. I got this other stuff I got to do. Now, I don't know if he liked the woman or didn't like her, but he said he was busy. So then the next day, she hits him back again. She's like, hey, I just want to see what you're up to. You want to hang out, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, but I'm leaving town and I don't really have the time, blah, blah, blah. And then the third day, after sending 2 friendly text messages on day 1 and day 2, day 3, her tone changes. Suddenly, she becomes the bitter woman who feels like she got played. Suddenly, the text messages are like, you raped me. You are a rapist. I'm going to call the police on you because you raped me. Right? Didn't say nothing about it the first 2 times when she's inviting him back to the crib for more sex and all that. Right? But the third day, she decides he's going to be a rapist. And let me tell you what she did. She then went on to, there was an email thread where a lot of his business partners and other people he's associated with were all in the same thread. And she writes in the email thread, this man raped me and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And what happened then was that a lot of people wouldn't deal with him anymore, because when people get accused of rape, you don't know if it's true or not. So a lot of times people just say, just to be safe, I'm going to stay away from you. I'm not going to mess with you. Right. And so as a result, I remember he was furious. He wanted to sue. And his lawyer just said, well, you could try to sue, but you probably won't get anything, because people don't get punished for this. They don't get punished for making false accusations. Now, again, he could have been bullshitting me. He could have been making all this stuff up. I can just say that I knew this guy for over a decade, and I never knew him to do bad things to people or to tell lies. Right. And again, I assume it could be confirmed that he was getting these text messages from her that were very friendly, as opposed to the third and fourth day when she's suddenly deciding that she wants to call him every name in the book, right? And so what I'm really saying is that, if you are a Black woman and you're preparing your son, you're protecting him in the Me Too era, we can't have conversations. This is going to go back to Zion Williamson, because he is a young Black male. He's 18, and I worry about this kid. I really do. You can't just have the whole conversation and base it on, you need to protect yourself from your own stupid behavior. You can't do that, because then what you could be doing is you could end up victim blaming, right? Like it's almost like telling a woman that, well, look, there are men out here that rape, so don't be wearing short skirts. You're not allowed to drink alcohol. And if you go on a date with a man and he rapes you, it's your fault, right? You don't do that, right? Just like you don't tell a Black male that in the Me Too era, you need to make sure you don't rape anybody. You need to make sure that you understand rape culture. You need to make sure that you control your toxic masculinity. Well, what if he has no toxic masculinity? What if he's just a regular guy who just, who would never rape anybody, but he runs into the wrong woman who decides she wants to tell a lie? And if you think that women don't lie, then you have never met a woman in your life, or you are a liar yourself. You are a liar yourself. The fact that they literally want to convince you that women can't lie like men is the most retarded shit I've ever heard in my life. That's the dumbest thing anybody's ever said in the history of stupid statements. Women and men do lie. Women and men can both be victims, and women and men both deserve justice, right? So going back to Zion Williamson, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button if you're watching. It's really important. I want to say hi to my friends on Instagram at the real Boyce Watkins. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. So Zion Williamson, what worried me about that is the fact that the bar for people getting exposed has dropped lower and lower and lower, right? It used to be, and this is the way Me Too started, we're going to expose men who rape women, right? Which right there, that's a problem in terms of justice, because you're supposed to have proof before you make serious accusations against somebody. Now, if you accuse somebody of shoplifting or I don't know, of jaywalking, then that's not a big deal. But if you're accusing them of rape, you're stigmatizing them for life. It's like giving them a social version of an STD. Like you're giving them an incurable STD that they can never wipe away. They can never clean it off. They can never get a cure. They can never get an antidote, right? So the accusation on another person, let's just be clear about this. An accusation, even if it's not false, especially on a Black man, is going to stain him for life, because a Black man has to be super clean, super fresh and clean in order to fit in with white folks in the first place. Like, to get white people to hire you and work with you and trust you, you really are almost like a lion where they have to really believe that you've been truly tamed in order for them to go near you, right? Like one time I was in a zoo in South Africa, and there were these baby leopards, baby leopards that were sleeping in their cage. And they were like, come on in, you can pet the leopard. I'm like, I'm not gonna pet a fucking leopard because I don't want to get mauled to death. I don't want to get ate up and killed. I'm not white. White people die from things like leopard bites and falling off a mountain and wrestling sharks and alligators. Like, I'm not gonna die like that, right? Like seriously, you know what I'm talking about. You know how white people get all adventurous and shit. I get, the Black in me is like, no, I'm not going to go die because I wanted to pet the leopard. But they were like, no. The leopards have been they've been given whatever not anesthesia, but you know what I'm talking about, something to make them they were just doped up. And they were like, no, they're not going to get up. They're going to be fine. And I saw everybody else going in and petting the leopard. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go in and pet the leopard. But the whole time I'm petting the leopard, I'm very careful. Like, I'm just ready. I'm just waiting on this motherfucker to jump up, and I'm be ready to run. I know where the exit is located, right? And I pet the leopard, and finally I get comfortable. I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. All right, yeah, okay. So I'm petting the leopard. Now here's the thing: the fact that I'm petting the leopard, but the fact that I'm petting the leopard means that we've come to a very, very fragile understanding. The understanding is very fragile because the minute that leopard winks at me or lifts his eye up and lifts his head, all trust is gone. I'm out of there. I ain't fucking with your leopards because I'm not trying to die in a leopard attack, right? Well, the black man in America is just like that leopard. The black man in America is an animal that is seen to be ferocious, scary, and just terrifying, right? Like a little black boy, nothing scares America more than the idea of some black woman giving birth to a little black revolutionary who is highly educated, who goes out and gets black people to change their behavior. J. Edgar Hoover, with the racist man who used to run the FBI, he literally wrote that the biggest fear of white America, the biggest threat to national security is the presence of a black messiah. You know, like he said, if they get one black man, just one, that leads them out of the wilderness and into the promised land, then all this white supremacy shit is not going to work anymore. That is a scary thing for them, right? So they don't want you giving birth to some baby Tupac Shakur who appeals to the masses, who also has PhDs behind him, giving him advice on how to best use his power. They don't want that, right? So there's an extensive fear of the black man on multiple levels. They fear me for my intellect, but they might fear another guy because of his strength and his size. Right? You know, that's why you got so many black men locked up in prison, right? Our CEOs, our kings, our leaders, your husband, your daughter's husband, it may be locked up in the penitentiary right now, right? Because they're like, we need to just wipe the streets clean and get rid of all these threats. So what's the difference between the black men who've been marginalized and criminalized versus the black men who are out here roaming the streets free, sitting up in corporate America, sitting on TV as spokesperson selling Jell-O pudding pops? Right? What's the difference? The difference is that they know that we are, in their mind, they're all niggers. They're all niggers. But some niggers, like those leopards, some niggers have been trained to be safe, and some of them are just too dangerous for us to fuck with. And here's the thing though, even when you're trained to be safe, even when they feel like you're safe, like you're the guy on TV selling Jell-O pudding pops, that trust that they have in you, the trust that they have in the safety of that relationship is extremely, extremely fragile. So that's why if you are a black man who is loved by all of America and you do one little thing, you can do the exact same thing white people do, right? You will get a punishment and a reaction and a rejection that is on an astronomical level compared to what white folks get. Like a white guy, like a white Bill Cosby would not be in prison. He'd probably still be on TV. There'd be a good chance he'd still be on TV. A white R. Kelly would probably still be making music. A white Michael Jackson, Oprah would never interview the accusers of a white Michael Jackson. Like, it just wouldn't happen, right? So ultimately, when I look at guys like Zion Williamson and this whole situation with the little Becky trying to holler and all this, and then trying to expose him for telling her that she's beautiful, and the other one exposing him because he invited her to come sleep with him, that just speaks to how that margin of error for the black man has shrank more and more and more over time, because they inherently believe that you are a threatening creature. And again, just the existence of you and your very penis and all these things that you have, that is something that's very scary for them. So with Zion, if I was advising him, first thing I'd probably say to him is I'd just be honest. I'd be like, man, why you mess with all them white girls? Like, I just don't get it, man. Like, you know, like do you understand you're in danger? You're in danger. A black man dating a white woman is in danger in that relationship the same way Robin Givens was in danger when she started dating Mike Tyson. Why are you in danger? Well, the Me Too movement would even agree with this. The reason that you're in danger is because that relationship, while it might be a good relationship at the time, that relationship is cursed with an extreme power imbalance. Mike Tyson dating Robin Givens was very scary for Robin because Robin Givens was like, 5'2", 100 pounds. Mike Tyson was the baddest man on the planet. He could knock out heavyweight champions of the world with one punch. So that relationship is wonderful as long as everybody's getting along. As long as Mike ain't mad and don't have an issue with Robin, it's all good. But you saw what happened when Mike was not happy with Robin. Next thing you know, Robin's life was in danger. Well, the relationship between a black male and a white female is cursed with that very same imbalance of power. As long as it's good and everybody loves each other and she's happy with your behavior and doesn't think that you're a bad person, then it's great. It's fine. No problem. But the minute she's not happy with you, she can crush you the way Mike Tyson was able to crush Robin Givens. She can knock your ass out with a single blow. All it takes is one call to 911 and you're done. All it takes is one accusation and you're done. All it takes is for her to out you on Twitter one time and you're done. All it takes is for her to accuse you of one thing. It ain't even gotta be, she don't even need proof. It doesn't even have to be, it doesn't have to be clear. It can be ambiguous. It can be, he mind controlled me and he mentally abused me. Well, that'll be enough to ruin your Jell-O pudding pop endorsement or whatever it is that you've got, right? So the black man has to be exceedingly careful about the types of women that he chooses. And I'm not talking to men who don't respect women. I'm certainly not talking to men who would ever rape a woman. I'm not talking to men who even believe in deep womanizing and getting around. But again, I'm not here to judge your sexuality or who you sleep with or how many times you get down. I'm just here to say that I'm talking to men who have a fundamental respect for women who would never rape anybody. Those men, especially those men who have wealth and power, must be extremely careful about who you let into your life. Because I guarantee you that if you are a famous, powerful black man and you let 50 Beckys into your life and you're having sex with all of them or you've had sex with them all, one of them gonna be crazy. Just by sheer statistics, you're gonna run into one or two crazy gold diggers. And even then, you maybe can reduce the penalties and do like Bill Cosby did and go pay him millions of dollars, which is a waste because that should be going to your family. It should be going to your community. Bill Cosby probably gave away $100 million to random ass white women, half of them hooked on drugs, a bunch of old crazy, ridiculous women who just came and got Gloria Allred and pressured him into paying up all that money. All that money could have went to supporting HBCUs. I guarantee you this. Here's what I believe. I believe Bill Cosby probably could have saved 2 or 3 HBCUs with the amount of money that he gave white women over those years. How much you want to bet? I bet you Cosby has paid $50 to $100 million out to random ass women between paying for them to go to college or paying for their apartment for 5 years or to buying them, plane trips around the world first class to lawsuit settlements. I bet you that if you piled all that money up and gave that money to just one HBCU, that would shore up that HBCU financially for the next 50 years. That's what Bill Cosby gave away. So I'm just telling, I think for black men, I think that you should be as afraid to date a white woman as a woman should be afraid of dating a powerful man. Like we've created this, we have this narrative from Me Too that powerful men are inherently bad and that anytime a powerful man sleeps with a less powerful woman, then that's almost like sexual assault because there's a huge imbalance of power. That's their whole narrative. That's their whole MO. That's their whole conversation to basically vilify all powerful heterosexual males, right? Which is why men like that have to be careful. So, well, I think that we should have a counter narrative. The counter narrative is that if you want to talk about the power dynamic as being the fundamental reason that the relationship is toxic to begin with, and that the relationship is a problem to begin with. If the power narrative is the issue, then there's no greater power imbalance in America than the power between a white woman and a black man. There is no space in America where there's not a greater power imbalance between the black male and the white female. The white female gets preferential treatment in almost every aspect of life. The black male gets subordinate treatment. Right? When it comes to incarceration, white women are the least likely to be incarcerated when they commit the same crimes. Black males are the most likely to be incarcerated, even if they do the same thing a white woman did. Right? So ultimately, when you talk about reputation, It's much easier to ruin the reputation of a black male in media than it is to ruin the reputation of a white female. Right? So because there are at least 1,000 things Zion Williamson could be accused of doing that you could never accuse a white woman of doing. Like let's dig a little deeper. Let's talk about that, right? So if you're talking about Zion being exposed, and everybody, please hit the thumbs up button. Please take a second, stop what you're doing. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, I want to let you guys know, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, you can go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. So let's keep going. So Zion Williamson, Duke University, has these conversations with these white girls on campus, and they decide they want to out him and expose him because in one conversation, he's telling the girl she's beautiful. Doesn't look like harassment or assault to me. In another conversation, he says, hey, I got a big room. You want to come and sleep with me? Right? That's not, there's nothing illegal about any of that, right? But here's the thing. Here's what should be illegal. Here's what should be illegal. You're not supposed to take a private conversation and record it and then put that shit out into the public. You're not supposed to do that. That's not legal. You can't do that. And so my thought is why is no one seeking to prosecute the young ladies who released this information? Because believe me, if Zion was to even get a peep, if they were even to accuse him of anything, sexual or whatever, even if he didn't do it, oh, his basketball career at Duke anyway would be over. He'd be done, right? So why is it not that somebody isn't seeking to prosecute these women for exposing these videos where he's doing video chat with them in a private setting? Again, let's reverse genders, reverse the gender. What if Zion was talking to some little fast ass girl on campus who wanted some penis? She said, I want that black penis because I just love black men. Because you know how they do. They fetishize us. They want what the black man's got, and they're jealous of the black woman because she's got access. And so what if this woman got on, a video chat and she did what a lot of young girls might be tempted to do. Let's say that she's like flashing a little boob. Maybe she does a little something on the camera, right? Whatever. You know how people are. I mean, we're all grown here.Maybe some of you got your kids. So you might want to cover your kids' ears. But you know what I'm talking about. Like, imagine if she did that. Imagine she did some things and said some things that she would rather not. Like, she wouldn't want her dad to hear her saying these things or doing these things, right? And then imagine if Zion said, oh, I'm going to expose these hoes. And he goes on Twitter and says, oh, look at this thirsty bitch up here trying to lure me in by showing her vagina, right? Imagine if Zion did that. What kind of a creep would Zion be to the public? What kind of a ridiculous, dastardly thing would that be to do to another person? Tell me, talk black to me. Tell me, what do you think? What do you think would happen? How do you think the media would react if Zion Williamson or any black man was to expose a woman on social media in the same way? It would be seen in a whole different light, in a whole different direction. People would have all kinds of sympathy for the woman. Oh, you're slut shaming. Oh, that's not right. You're oppressing women and their sexual freedom and blah, 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 right? But they don't get that same conversation when they talk about the black man. The black man gets no sympathy, from anybody. Nobody says, like, how do you think he feels? I mean, do you know how many black men I've talked to who've been traumatized because they were falsely accused of rape? I know black men, I know brothers that broke down and started crying to me because of what they went through when they were falsely accused, how they lost everything, how they can't recover. Nobody trusts them now. They got to register as a sex offender, and all these other crazy things. Like, I've seen these men break down. Why is it that we have all the sympathy in the world for Becky, but no sympathy for the Zion Williamsons of the world, for the black men of the world? I mean, just exposing a woman's sexual behavior on social media has been enough to drive some women to suicide, right? That has happened, right? And it's wrong. We know it's wrong. And we know, the thing is that not only do we know it's wrong, but society knows it's wrong. So people would rightfully so, they would attack any man who was weak ass enough to expose a woman in that way. Real men don't do that. Real men don't kiss and tell. Real men don't go out telling everybody, oh yeah, let me tell you what she did in the bedroom. Men don't do that. At least not where I come from. That's so tacky. So tacky. You might be mad as hell at her. You might think she's a terrible person. You might think she's garbage. You might think she's a gold digger. She's a dirt bag. She's somebody you never want to see in a million years, but you will never go on social media. Real men speak up. Real men in the room. Tell me what you think about what I'm saying here. Real men do not do that. You would not expose a woman and her sexual behavior because that happened with you in private. That happened in private. Why does the world need to know what y'all were doing in the bedroom? But these women, these two girls, for 2 minutes of Twitter fame, to be famous on Twitter, are like, oh, look at this guy telling me I'm beautiful, or look at this guy telling me he wants to sleep with me. And it's just like what are you doing? What is this? What is this? So I think that to really understand how unfair something is, you have to do what maybe in statistics we might call like dynamic analysis. And dynamic analysis is where you take a variable and you flip the variable and you say, how does it look when you look at it from this perspective? So if you really want to understand race in America, the way to understand race is to take some bullshit that you see that bothers you, and to understand why it bothers you, flip the races. Like, ask yourself, say, I wonder how this would be seen if a white person did this instead of a black person. Or what if this was a white woman instead of a black man? Would we have the same reaction? Would it be possible? Like, what if R. Kelly was a white woman? Like, that would be a great article to write. Like, what if R. Kelly was a white woman and we did that exercise? Like, and so that you got a white woman who's a complete freak, who has had sex with underage boys, and she mind controls all the men that come into her life and locks them in a room and makes them shit in a bucket. Like, would that documentary even be able to be sellable on Lifetime or whatever channel it was on? Like if R. Kelly was a white woman, would we be able to see the story in the same way that we see it with him being a black male? Those intimidating images of him with the music, like dom, 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 and they show him with a cigar in his mouth, like he's thinking he's a boss and all that. Like would that work if you had Becky up there instead of R. Kelly? Or would your preconceptions of Becky make you incapable of even believing that a woman's even capable of doing something like that? Right? So anyway, moving on. Here's what I want to do. I want to definitely finish the discussion. I'm about to have another conversation on Dr. Boyce TV. In case you guys want to come in, I'm going to have another conversation with filmmaker Rick Mathis, who made the film Black Friday. We're going to talk about a new film that he has coming out called Young Moneymakers, and black kids that are making money and building businesses. Not even kids, young adults. And so if you want to talk about the money making conversation or building a Black Hollywood, things like that, come back into the conversation at drboycetv.com. We're going to do this in about 10 minutes. But I want to finish with a few rules that I would probably give young guys like Zion Williamson. There's probably more stuff that I would lay out here, but here's a couple of things I would do. I would share with him in terms of rules you might want to follow when it comes to engaging women. One, I would get some sort of consent when it comes to sex at all levels. All kinds of consent, as much consent as possible. And consent doesn't just mean a legal document that she signs. I'm talking about any text messages that she sends. If she's sending you naked pictures, you save all that in case you need some sort of proof that there was some sort of consent given along the way. Now, is that the same as complete consent? No. Well, because even a fast woman, even a woman who wants it, can be raped, right? So that's dual. That can happen, right? But still, it helps you, right? So if you can just sort of prove through a bunch of text messages, look, this girl wanted me all the way up until the moment that we got together. She was harassing me. She was reaching out to me. I think having stuff like that is really important. I think consent and proof in some sort of writing can be really helpful to you. Two, that you got to vet out the women that you bring into your life. You can't trust a big butt and a smile. BBD said that a long time ago in a song, and it's true in the real world today. Do not just allow women to just come into your space, because those women are getting access to things that you value and you cherish. When you're Zion Williamson and you're worth $100 million, you let a woman close to you, you're giving her access to the throne, you're giving her access to $100 million worth of Black value, power, Black economic power. Why do you let somebody who might harm you get that close to being able to shut it all down and destroy it? Do you know how many billions and billions of dollars have been lost by the Black community from Black men who didn't know how to be careful? A king knows how to protect his empire from everybody. A king is always looking at everybody with a side eye. A king knows how to make sure he vets you before you get too close to the empire. And because he doesn't want to lose everything, because he gets blindsided. Most great men get taken down by somebody that caught them slipping and sleeping. They use their weakness to get them. Their weakness might be women. Your weakness might be drugs. Your weakness might be partying or whatever. Do you know how many men have been? Do you know how many gangsters have been murdered because they were chilling in the club with some girl on their lap? Like, do you know how many men have been robbed and killed because some cute girl came up and said, come on, let's go back to the room with me. And then you go to the room with her and she's there to set you up. Do you know how many COINTELPRO operations were very successful because all they did was put a big button, a smile in front of the civil rights leader, and he lost all of his Holy Spirit, he lost every ounce of Jesus. He's a pastor, but he don't see no Jesus when he's looking at that ass, right? Do you know how much time they spend working to find every vulnerability that they can look for, and they use that to set you up so they can take you down? And I'm not talking to people that do bad things to other people. I'm talking about people who are trying to live a good life. I'm talking to the men that want to be smart, the men that want to get ahead and don't want to hurt anybody. No matter whether you want to hurt anybody or not, there are people out there that will want to hurt you, or better yet, they want to get something from you, and they will hurt you if they can't get something from you. So you got to watch these women. Some of these women, some of them, not all of them, but you got some old lying ass, sneaky ass, gold digging ass dirt bags out here in this world who will do terrible things to you that will make you feel as bad as if you got raped. Right. And there's nothing sexist about that statement. Why is that not a sexist statement? Well, because I can make the same damn statement about men. I could tell a young lady, look, there's some old horny ass men who will lie to you, who will manipulate you, who will play you, who will pimp you, who will try to mind control you, who will abuse you. So you gotta vet every man that you let close to your life and close to your body, because women have died from trusting the wrong man. So the same statement I can make to a young Black man is a similar statement I can make to a young Black woman. Nothing changes, and we need to get out of the mindset in which people tell us that it's not okay for me as a Black man to warn young Black men about what's in front of them if they are not careful. So third thing I would warn is also be careful with this technology. Be careful about recording yourself doing things that you can't defend on CNN. If you can't defend it on CNN, then you don't need to take a picture of it. If you can't defend it on CNN, you don't need to be talking about it. If you can't defend it on CNN, don't get no digital records of it. If there's a conversation you need to have where it might be interpreted the wrong way, if somebody got a hold of it, then maybe that's a conversation that you have in person. Maybe it's a conversation you at least have over the phone and not via text. Text messages can be easily saved, but phone calls can even be recorded, right? So it's different levels, right? Because I'm gonna tell you like this. Look, seriously, anybody in here, if you ever do some shit that you don't want nobody to know, like you go out and kill somebody, I ain't gonna judge you. Hopefully it was a motherfucker that needed killing. If you kill somebody that needed some killing, I'm not gonna judge you for that. But what I am gonna say to you is keep that to yourself. Keep that to yourself. Don't fess it up. Don't confess it all during some pillow talk with some woman that you met, because as soon as things go bad, first thing she does is go to the cops. Cops catch guys like that all the time. If you are, if you want to send a death threat to somebody, don't send it on text message. Go get in their face and say, if you piss me off, I'm going to kill you, or it might be the end of you the next time I see you. Or, bad things tend to happen to people who cross me. I thought you knew that, right? Whatever it is, right? Say it up close. Don't put it in a text message. Don't even put it in a phone call if it's that serious. And now I'm not telling you to go do anything illegal or anything bad to anybody. I'm just saying, I'm not judging. I'm saying be cautious, especially if you got a lot to lose. For these young Black men who are going to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, man, you got to watch your back, and then you got to have people to watch. You got to pay people to watch your back, and then you got to have people that watch the backs or watch the people that are watching your back. Like, you need to be in tune with every single thing that's happening around you, because you never know who's holding the knife that is going to get jabbed into your back. And usually the person who jabs that knife in your back, in many cases, is somebody that used to be your closest ally. Now, how do I know these things? I don't just know these things from theory. I know these things from experience, because some of these mistakes are mistakes I've made in my own life. That's all I got to say. Good luck to Zion Williamson. Stay away from the white girls, man. You need to be careful, brother. Seriously. All right, so hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, please, if you are interested, please check out some of our stuff we have in the Black Business School. We teach wealth on a regular basis. I have a great stock market class. So if you want to learn how to invest in the stock market, you can go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Somebody please type that in. Last but not least, if you want to get books for your family like Powernomics, Black Labor, White Wealth, some of my books like What If George Bush Were a Black Man, or Black American Money, or The New Black Power 1 and 2, you can go to drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. So I'm out of here, guys. As I said, I'm going to be right back on with Rick Mathis. So if you come back to drboycetv.com, you can see the interview conversation I'm having with Rick Mathis. Rick is a cool dude. He made the film Black Friday and Black Friday 2, which were major Blackbuster hits. Blackbuster, not Blockbuster, Blackbuster hits, because he's part of the new Black Hollywood, and he's a great guy you can learn from if you want to know how to run a business and be successful in this space. So I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Have a good day. Peace.